Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. Welcome to, what's my live stream called? Shrimp Room Live. Shrimp Room Live. Oh, I sound really loud. So I've got a new microphone. If it's too loud, just let me know. And if it's too quiet, let me know. I got the old one, but this one, I can walk around. So I can walk around. I can move. It's on a little tether. It's a little lapel mic. Got it for Christmas from my wife. So today what we are today what we are going to be doing is we are going to be doing a live feeding of all of my shrimp tanks, as well as just hanging out with you guys, answering any questions you may have about keeping shrimp. So welcome to the live stream. Definitely appreciate you all. And the first tank I have on here is the blue bolt shrimp, and they are just doing their thing. It's been a few days since they've had some food. I was trying out some new food and ended up kind of overfeeding a little bit. Not too bad, though. So I gave them an extra few days of no food, so that way they could catch up. So good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's doing good today and had a good Christmas. Antonio Rosas says hello, hello, how are ya? Yeah, these guys are going crazy. So it's been about 3-4 days since they've had some pellet food, and they're super hungry for you. So we're gonna get some good footage today. Hey John, how are ya? Yeah, so if anybody didn't know, I was out sick, got really sick around Christmas time, and I've been doing better. You can hear it in my voice a little bit, but I'm good. Rosa says, "I love those shrimp. Thank you so much. They're one of my favorites. I love blue bolts." Garcia Aquatics. Well, hello. How are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you? And then look at that. We got my nephew Dean. Hey, Dinner Wolf. How are you? So I've got a new mic. I could kind of hear it playing on my phone where I'm recording the shrimp. So how's the audio? Do I sound too loud? Am I too quiet? How's it sound? I've got my other mic I can switch to if I need to. And like everything else, I didn't test it before the live stream. We just do everything in real time, and we'll figure it out from there. Sounds great? Good. Yeah, with this one, I can, like, if I'm working on a tank, I can walk all the way over here, and you guys can still hear me, and I can do my stuff. So it's a little bit better. That way I'm not, if I have to walk away, I'm not leaving you guys behind. Antonio says it sounds great. Dinner Wolf says, yes, it's me. John, I've got the script numbers under control now, just the Plecos. Guess. I can't even remember how many you had last time. Was it in the 400s or 200s? How many do you have? Don't make me guess. Just tell me. It's like a Band-Aid. Just rip it off. Thomas Dobbins, how are you, sir? Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, if you look at this tank right here, you'll see in the bottom left corner, there is a shrimp that has almost that black carapace. So what I found was a lot of blue bolt breeders will breed their blue bolts with shadow pandas, which shadow pandas, don't quote me on any of this. Shadow pandas are a cross between crystal blacks and blue bolts. So that's where you get that black head. So if you look at some of my shrimp, you can see that they actually have like a black spot on their head, or this black carapace. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer shot for you. But you'll notice that, whoa, geez, I'm taking my whole setup out. You'll notice that they have this black spot on them, and that's just a gene or trait from being crossbred with those shadow pandas at one point. So I've got a lot of them in there that are a deep blue color, but then you have a few of them that have these spots on them, and a select few of them actually have this kind of bowling ball pattern. So it's got 2 dots on the bottom and then 1 dot on the top. So it's got this 3 dot pattern, and I want to separate those out and make that a pattern. So that way I can add that in. And all you do is just selectively breed those traits. Catch up on chat here. Garden of Eater. Hey, Grant, how are you? He says, what's up, Kyle? John says 750 now with more spawns due or overdue. You got to set up a warehouse. It's too many Plecos. Sorry. Thomas says, I'm sure Grant knows. Crystal Black Shrimp Cross Blue Bolt equals Mishlings. To get shadows, it was a mutation, but any Tybee can throw other Tybee. I assume TB is Tybee. New Local Austin. Hello, folks. How are you? So you'll see what I was mentioning, Grant, is there's a few of these shrimp have that black, carapace or black head. And I know there's like I was saying, there's few people who mix the shadow pandas with their blue bolts. So it's wondering if it's like a recessive trait or just one of those shrimp have that in there. Taiwan bee, not Tybee. There you go. Yeah, I'm still learning everything as far as like the Tybees, and the Taiwan bees. There's all kinds of nomenclature out there, especially with like the Mishlings and having all the different names for the different varieties. I wish I could just download your brain, Grant, and put it in here so that way I can have all of that knowledge. And this is one of my most successful tanks. So there's just tons of shrimp in here. And while I was sick, I didn't really get a chance to look at all the shrimp and inspect all the tanks. So I'm actually seeing the shrimp for the first time really close up, just like you guys, since Christmas. So I was super excited for today's live stream, so that way we can really get a good inspection on the tanks and see how everything's doing. I was able to do water changes this week and last week, but not the following week. So I went 2 weeks without a water change, and that can affect some stuff. So curious to see how everything's doing. Grant says, people just keep blue bolts and shadows together because they want to keep the blue and not just breed normal Taiwan bee pandas. So from that, geez, excuse me, guys. The blackhead is a Missouri pattern. There are neos and not neos. That's it. Thanks, John. Yeah, that's the extent of my knowledge too. So would blue bolt be considered a Taiwan bee, or would it be considered a Mishling? Because if I understand correctly, a Tai bee is a Taiwan bee crossed with a tiger, and then a Tai bee is a what is it? A Tai bee crossed with a tiger. Blue bolt is a Taiwan bee. Yeah. Grant says, catching up on water changes now. Some of them haven't been done since I broke my ankle. I feel you, man. I was laid up for 2 weeks almost. Big Z, Ryan, how are you, man? Thanks for joining. Tybee is B times tiger. Yep. And then Tybee is Tybee times Taiwan bee. Yeah. So I was close. So your Tybees would be blue pinto or pinto shrimp, correct? And then Tai would be, no. Yeah, see, it's confusing. It's just, for some reason, it just doesn't, it's not clicking. So I'm sure somebody out there will explain it in a way that it finally sticks in my head. But through repetition, eventually I'll remember all of that. Especially with the trickle down information in the hobby, it's Tai bees. Pintos are Tai bees, yeah. So Pinto is a cross between a Tai bee and a Taiwan bee. So you cross a tiger with a Taiwan bee, you get a Tai bee. Now you take that Tai bee, and you cross it with another Taiwan bee, and that's where Pintos come from. So basically, you've got two types of shrimp. You got your tiger shrimp, which are there's a few different types of them. I know Serrata's one of the families, and then Babolati, Babolti. I can't think of it. I know there's a few different wild types, and then you cross those with Taiwan bees, you get your Tai bees, and then take your Tai bees, cross those with more Taiwan bees, and that's where you start to get those Pinto patterns. So to give an example, my Black King Kongs would be considered Tai bees, correct? And since I'm crossing those with tigers, that's where I'm trying to get those Pintos. Or are orange-eye blue tigers considered Tai bees? It's not that easy, though. We'll take several generations to make Pinto. Yes. Nothing's guaranteed. Bumblebee is a furry, buzzy flying insect. Spicy sky raisins. That's what they're called, John. It's a spicy sky raisin. Tai bee is one pigment layer. Tai bee is double pigment, like Taiwan bee. Gotcha. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Welcome to the stream. So, mutt scrimps then. Kinda. So, Grant, when are you gonna jump on the live stream and give us all a breakdown and share all your knowledge as far as everything we just talked about? If they were pure, they should be just Taiwan bee, not Tai bee. Shrimp Wednesday. I'm picking it up slowly. There you go, Austin. Yeah, just jump in here, hang out with us. Watch our videos. You'll learn before you know. Ask Ryan. Let's do next Wednesday. We'll plan for next Wednesday, as long as I don't have any plans or anything. I know now that your ankle's feeling better and I'm not dying in bed. So how was everybody's Christmas? Did you guys get anything shrimp related, fish related? John says, no offense meant to anybody. I'm just a troll. No, you're good, man. We understand. All right. Grant says, I'm getting 2 300-gallon ponds right now on lunch with Selby, so you just got to let me know what time. So it would be next Wednesday at this time. So 10 o'clock, which you're in Florida, so 11, 12, 1. So it'd be 1 p.m. for you. Ryan says, these damn shrimp are a pain in me butt. So I do want to give a big shout out to all of my members, everybody who has joined the Poseidon's Pets Posses. If you would like to do so, the link is right there. Nightbot decided to share it for me, so thank you so much, Nightbot. But what you get is you get a nice fancy trident next to your name, and then you can send all of these emojis. So any of my members out there, let's do an emoji bomb for Nightbot. We'll do an emoji bomb for Nightbot. 12 my time. Okay, so 2 hours ahead. Yeah, I thought Florida was 3 hours ahead. Austin says, love you, Sharpie. And John says, I got 2 pound of algae wafers, a calendar with pics of my fishies, and scrimpies along with a GoPro. That's awesome. So was it a calendar of your shrimp and fish yourself, or was it a calendar of just different types? And which GoPro did you get? I've been looking at different cameras for time lapses because I think it would be really cool to, say, put like a mulberry leaf in the tank and then do a time lapse of that and then just watch the shrimp eat it over a couple of days, because it's not like a week-long event, but it does take them 24 to 48 hours to eat that whole mulberry leaf. So I think it'd be pretty cool to set up a camera like that. And I know GoPro's good for those time lapses. All right, well, I am excited to see the other tanks. So what we're going to do is just going to show you guys, now that I got this fancy mic, what I do to prepare the next tank. So I've got tons of floating plants in here. Let's see if you guys can see that. And to make it so the light comes out, so that way you can actually see all the shrimp, I just move these plants out of the way. So I really need to get in here and start thinning these out a little bit. But in the meantime, we just scoot them out of the way. That way some of the light shines through a little bit better. That way we're not looking at a dark tank. And I've been thinking about devising an apparatus that blocks part of the tank. So it would just be like a piece of plastic here, and that way I can have this couple inches up front without any of the floating plants. That way the light gets through there. So what I use for my live streams is Shrimp King Complete. And this is just a good balanced food. I do feed other stuff as well. But we'll drop that in the Black King Kong Extreme tank, as well as the Orange Eye Blue Tigers. So that way we can get that going. Give them a second to swarm, and then we'll switch the camera over. John says he got a calendar with his actual fish and shrimp. He got a GoPro Hero 7, and I'll get around to dunking it in a shrimp tank soon. That's awesome, man. That's cool. You got a calendar with pictures of your actual animals. Atkins Nature Aquarium. Kyle, what's up? Hey, how are you? Hey, everyone. And what I was saying earlier in the beginning of the live stream is I've been trying out some new food, and a lot of it was soybean whole based. So with the soybean food, or snowflake food that most people know it as, it lasts in the tank a little bit longer than regular pellets. And so the shrimp have more food to graze on over time. But since I hadn't used that food before, normally I feed every other day. Well, since I fed a snowflake food, that usually lasts multiple feedings, so three to 4 days itself. So I had overfed my shrimp last week, and I was trying to get some footage, trying to look at them and see how they're all doing, and they just were not coming to the front. So I'm like, okay, I gotta give them some time. So let's look at the schedule. So last I fed them was I gave them a pellet on Friday the 7th, which they didn't really go for. It wasn't really something they were interested in. So at that point, I knew that I had been overfeeding. So I skipped a day Saturday, and then I fed powder on Sunday. So Sunday was the last time that these guys got any food. And so since it's Wednesday now, that's a 3-day gap. We'll write that in there. We'll just put pellet. It's good to keep track of your feedings, so that way you know what you're feeding, when you're feeding, and how much. You guys are talking a little bit. Let me catch up. Austin says, nice haul, Sharpie. I got cash and gift cards from family, but bought a generator that will run my mini split in the fish room in a power outage. There you go. John Dune says, hi there. Welcome to the stream, John. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Big Z. Yeah, it's always one problem to the next. You say shrimp are easier than fish. I now laugh at that statement. And it's all good. I live my shrimpy dreams through you. Shrimp can be difficult, but they can be very easy too. It's what I like about shrimp is most shrimp don't have parasites, they don't have diseases, they don't have issues. So with Neocaridina shrimp, you do see a lot of problems arise, and the main reason for that is they're heavily imported. So a lot of Neocaridina shrimp come from these large shrimp distributors in Taiwan and overseas, and you start to see like Alobiopsidea and Scutellaria, and it's not good. So what you got to do is you got to find a local breeder or somebody here in the States that, you know, raises them themselves and they're not grown in those conditions. So if you're looking for Neocaridinas, Grant over at the Garden of Eder, he lives in Florida and he's got IBC totes in his backyard galore with tons of Neocaridina shrimp. So he's a Neocaridina factory. If you need Neos, you go reach out to him, and they're all homebred. But what I was saying was, you know, fish have a lot of disease and a lot of parasites. So you're spending a lot of money on all these meds, and a lot of the fish are wild caught, or they come from these importers or breeders that just don't really care for the fish. And it's, since I've seen the other side of the hobby, I've kind of steered away from it because it's borderline excuse me, it's borderline animal abuse with a lot of these, you know, fish farms. And especially if you look at the goldfish trade and how they manipulate and mutilate their animals, they'll wrap bands around them to give them different physical deformities, and it's just not good. So I've kind of steered away from the fish side of the hobby, unless I get my stuff from a local breeder. So if I have friends who breed fish, yeah, you know, bring them over, bring them to my tanks. I'll trust that, you know, you guys have gone through the quarantine process and done everything there. But it's hard because we all love the hobby, but there's some bad stuff out there too. But fish or shrimp are a lot easier. You've got a handful of stuff that could happen, and you don't have to have this litany of tests and medications to fix them. So Antonio Rosa says, I was wondering, because I'm new to fish keeping and I want to start a planted tank for my fish and shrimp. What's a good substrate for that? And would substrates be enough to plant in? So it depends on what kind of plants and fish and shrimp you're looking to keep. So a lot of the substrates that we use are an active substrate that lowers the pH. So if you're just going to be using tap water and not remineralizing RO, then you can use like Eco Complete, or there's a few other substrates out there. I'm trying to think. Eco Complete's the one I know the most, and then Fluval Stratum, or you can just use sand. You can use pool filter sand, aquarium sand, and add root tabs. So a lot of plants out there, they don't require a whole lot of fertilizer as far as like soil and active substrates go. So for most of my planted tanks, I just use regular pool filter sand, and then I buy root tabs to fertilize, or I use liquid fertilizer. So it doesn't look like these guys are too hungry today, but we'll go ahead and move the camera over. So this is the Black King Kong Extreme tank with the orange eye blue tigers. We've got a little bit of a glare there, but not too bad. So if we give them a second, I'm sure they'll start to move over. John says, January pick is my, you're going to make me say it, huh? Subocellatus crib, female in full breeding plumage. That's awesome. Yeah, you'll have to send a picture. Atkins Nature Aquariums. Yeah, I kill Neos. My girlfriend has had cherry shrimp. That's it. Yeah, so Neos or cherries are a type of Neo, And they do well. They're a good starter shrimp. They do well in most water parameters. Come on. There we go. Atkins says, so I don't keep shrimp. That's okay. John says, nowadays I tend to just use a dark colored coarse sand, Antonio. Once that muck builds up, it will feed the plants well. Yeah, and a well-established tank will get enough detritus and mulch to feed your plants, but it's nice to supplement with the root tabs, because if you have heavy feeders like Java fern and some of the other stem plants, then adding those extra minerals and trace minerals and stuff is good. Brian says, Atkins, I killed them all. Hey, you're not a true shrimp keeper until you've killed some shrimp. Atkins says, I got a saltwater pistol shrimp. He's doing good. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been wanting to set up a salt tank for a mantis shrimp, but I got to do more research into it. I think it would be really cool. John says, I treat them mean and they just keep multiplying. I break all the shrimp rules. So there's best practices with shrimp, and then there's some things that you should do. But for the most part, shrimp are pretty hardy. John says, shrimp parasites are easy to treat with salt baths. Definitely. I know you had the dreaded green fungus Alobiopsidea, and you had a Vorticella, and you were treating it with salt baths. Bob Moss, hey, how are you, man? Let's get an emoji bomb for Bob Moss here. Send out some of them emojis. Blasting sand. Yeah, there you go. Blasting sand. You blitzkrieg bopping again, Bob. Wow, you're slow on the chat. I was talking. I got to rambling. I was talking, and I was on a rant about the fish industry and parasites, and you can't judge me. Don't judge me. This is a safe zone. This is my safe space, okay? Ryan says, it's like duckweed. Not everyone is capable. I like to pride myself on my reading level. I am very intelligent, and I read very quickly. John says, just letting you know, I got the reference, Bob. I'm Judge, Jury, and Executioner. That's all right. We'll allow it. I'll allow it. These are not the droids you're looking for. Antonio says, I read slow AF. Well, that's also why I like to read the chat. Excuse me. It's because that way, if somebody can't keep up, or if somebody's doing stuff, say you're just lurking on my channel right now and you're just listening, you're not really seeing what's happening in chat. So you're only getting half of the conversation. So I know it seems kind of redundant for me to sit here and read the comments, but it does help for those who are busy and just trying to listen, or at work or something, they can't contribute to chat. Ryan says, it's the internet, Bob. All live streams do this. John says, you are the law, Bob. I like to think I was good at keeping up with chat. Haven't done it since November, though. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now, imagine if this chat was like Mark or Corey from Aquarium Co-op. It's, the chat's just going so fast. You gotta pick something and go with it. And you may lose a lot of stuff. So I'm happy for the size of my channel, because I can talk to you guys and I can have these conversations and spend the time with you, to where if I was a bigger streamer, I wouldn't be able to sit here and answer everybody's question. There's no way I could do it. So it's nice that, we have this smaller community. And of course, like anybody else, I'm hoping it will grow, but it's not a big deal. I enjoy doing it, and I know you guys enjoy watching, so we'll get there eventually. Yes, Nightbot says, become a member of the Poseidon's Pets Posse. Don't feel obligated to send me any money. All proceeds do go back to the shrimp. So any money I receive through super chats or my memberships does all go back into the tanks. The orange eye blue tigers, black king kongs you see here were paid exclusively with YouTube. Actually, all my shrimp I have right now were funded through YouTube. So it's nice to have the community and have you guys help support the hobby, because some of these shrimp are expensive. They can get up to $35 a piece, and if you get a rare breeding pair, I've seen them go for $3 or $4 grand for 2 shrimp. So it adds up. I'm not on that level yet, though. Let's just keep alive the ones I have now. We'll get there. John says the trick is to read one thing and talk about another whilst thinking about the answer for 3 posts down the line. Nope, I live in the moment. All you can wheat. Welcome to the live stream. First time tuning into the live stream, have a question. What would you say are the best carpeting plants with a rubber lip Pleco? Mine's a jerk to anything in the substrate. So with Plecos, it's hard to keep a lot of plants. A lot of them are heavy plant eaters, and that's why they're so invasive, is because they'll breed fast and they'll eat and destroy an ecosystem. So it's planted tanks. You got to choose your fish very selectively, because there's some fish that will eat the plants, and plecos are one of them. I had a albino bristlenose destroy my Amazon sword in a matter of like a week or two, and then ended up just giving it to Ryan, like, hey man, come take this thing. It's wrecking my plants right now. Not that my planted tanks are anything to go off of, because if you look at the giant hair algae ball behind me, my 60-gallon is a little neglected at the moment. I got to get in there and tear some stuff out, but the fish are happy. That's all that matters. Funk has PB back him up so he can manage chat better. I think that is a valid strategy. Excuse me. Yeah, so when you get bigger as a streamer, a lot of times what will happen is you'll have your moderators who you trust to jump in and answer questions that you're not able to answer, which is nice. Oh, that's a good suggestion, John. Yeah, dwarf sage would be good if you want something that's carpeting. Bob says, today was a leg day. I cannot walk now. Bob wants to hype his next video. No, can't. Can't talk about your channel. Yeah, go for it, man. What are you working on? Ryan says, now he's a daddy. There you go. I didn't know that, Pleco bread. All you can eat. No worries about the hair algae. I just started O2 and have loads at times. Very tricky to learn. Planted tanks are a balance for sure. They can be frustrating. What do you think? You guys want to throw the macro lens on there? See if we can get some close-ups. Let's see what we got. Food might be too far away, but we'll see what we get. That looks pretty good. Look at that. The blues on those orange eyes are gorgeous. I'm going to mess it up, I'm sure, by trying to make it better. So you'll notice in this tank, I've got some of the, it looks like I've successfully crossed the black King Kongs with the orange eyes, because there's a few blue shrimp in here that have just a white backstripe. So you can see it there on the left. And I'm not sure if they're going to darken up as they get older and be King Kongs, but we'll see as time goes on. I've noticed a few of them have orange eyes, so I think that we've successfully done it. We've crossed them. And over time, we're just going to keep, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep crossbreeding and selectively breeding those blue pinto traits. So as I get a larger colony, I'll set up a separate tank with the blue pinto pattern, and that way we can start getting some better shrimp in there. John says, weird my bristlenose don't touch the plants. They'll dig them up if I plant them in the wrong place, though. Bob says, Fish Keeper Fitness. You should have early access, Kyle. Yeah, with being a content creator, I don't have a lot of time to actually watch YouTube. That's funny. I do what I can, and there's a few YouTubers who I'll sit there and watch. Bob says, just made a community post for the hype. You can see my leg day. Don't forget your bucket brigade. Lunges, curls, and squats. Yep. At least once a week, I carry 5 gallons up the stairs. That's my extent of my workouts. All right, I'm bored of this tank. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to come on over here, move some lights around. We are going to show off the Serrata tank. So in this tank, I've got tangerine tigers as well as blue aura shrimp. Today what I got for you is a nice soup of some blue auras and some tangerine tigers. Good soup. Come on, plants, you gotta move. You gotta give me some light. I gotta be able to see my scrim. If anybody wants some Salvinia minima and duckweed, live in the Arizona area, hit me up. You can have it all. I'm getting splashed over here. It's the bubbles. The bubbles are splashing me. Yeah, these guys took that food and ran with it, didn't they? Let's go back to the blue bolts while we wait for the Black King Kong or the Serrata tank to be ready for viewing. Which it shouldn't take too long. These guys swarm pretty quick. What is happening? Why are you so close? There we go. Look at them blue bolts. Ah, cute little blue bolts. All right, catch up on chat. Let's see. Let's see. Bob's talking about working out. Antonio says, I love how complex shrimp keeping is. When I got into fish keeping, I didn't know how cool and interesting shrimp were. I always want to replace shrimp with scrimp. Like, that's how my brain reads it. It's a scrimp. Yeah, so I started out with ghost shrimp, and I love to see all the little eggs on them. So the ghost shrimp would be swimming around the community tank, and they'd have all these eggs on them. And I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to breed them. So I started diving in, doing research, and being like, how to breed ghost shrimp. And what I was finding was most people were saying, oh, they're feeder shrimp. They don't live very long. It's hard to breed them, this and that. You got to have salt water. And it's all kinds of misinformation. And then I came across cherry shrimp. And that was all downhill from there. 2 years later, I've got 5 shrimp tanks. I moved from Neocaridina to Caridina. Planning on setting up a room in my house just for shrimp when we move. So it goes downhill pretty quick. You start diving down that rabbit hole, and if you see the mass amount of shrimp that there are out there, there's so many shrimp out there. So it's almost like Pokemon. You just want to catch them all. You want to have every single kind. So I'm with you. It is interesting to see. John says, I'm still working out what to upload this week. Either some voyeuristic bristlenose porn, complete with bristle. I'm not reading the rest of that. And hope everyone has a great day. Got to get ready for an interview today. Good luck on your interview, Antonio. Thanks for stopping in. Do both Sharpie tell paranormal story over bristlenose footage? Yes. All You Can Wheat says, your shrimp look amazing. I need to get into RO if I want anything but Neos. Stupid hard water here in central New York. Any advice on where to start? Yes. So I do not have an RO system. I use RO water, but I go out and I purchase it myself. So if you're looking to set up just say one Caradina shrimp tank, you can go buy distilled water in the gallon bottles for $1. So if you're doing a 10-gallon tank with weekly 20% water changes, it's roughly $2 a week, which is $8 a month for that RO water, which that's not a lot. So you just got to get your remineralizer, get that gallon distilled water, and then just work on remineralizing that water. So you can do it. You can absolutely do it without having an RO system. Now, if you want to get on the level of some of us who have multiple tanks, have multiple Caradina tanks, bigger tanks than a 10-gallon, you may want to invest in a RO system, but you still don't have to. So what I do is, do I got any laying around? Over there. We'll grab one here in a second. So I take 5-gallon jugs and I go to the grocery store, and most grocery stores have those big water dispensers out front. You know, it's 35 cents a gallon, $1.80 for 5 gallons, something like that. But that's RO water. That water that comes out of those big machines, it's reverse osmosis water. If you have a TDS pen, you can test the water. You'll see that it probably ranges from anywhere from 0 to 35, which compared to your tap water is great. So if you want to have multiple tanks, if you want to have a large tank for Caradina shrimp, you can do it without having an RO system. You just got to buy your water somewhere else. You don't want to use tap water. Otherwise, you can get Neo Caradina shrimp and acclimate them to your tap water. It's just with shrimp and tap water to me varies too much throughout the year, so I don't want to use it, especially if you live somewhere like we do, to where there's not there's a big fluctuation throughout the year. So it just depends on where you live and what you do. All right. So All You Can Wheat says our GH is 17 drops, KH is 11 drops from the tap water. So yeah, that's about where we're at with our tap water. It's pretty high. Our GH is probably 22, KH is like 15, 16. So it's pretty high up there. But I've got Neo Caradina in this tank. I've got a colony of cherry shrimp that do fine in my 60-gallon, and I hardly ever do water changes in there. Bob says, I need a mobility scooter. John says, sounds like my water. Shrimp are doing great. Distilled water. Tap water TDS here is up over 400 most days after letting chlorine gas off. Yeah, it sounds like our water. I've tested our TDS of our tap water, and it's close to like 600, 500 around there. Yeah, so these guys are just not swarming. We're going to have to give them a few minutes. But you can see there's a few of them on the food back there, but nothing crazy. Go back to these guys. They've kind of moved up front a little bit. We'll give them some more time. We'll let them find the food. Bob's over here singing Pokemon. Ryan asks, have they put chloramines in our water? I don't have a test, or I haven't looked up any of the recent tests. Excuse me. So I'm not sure if they have any chloramines in the water. But if you use Prime will remove any chloramines. Bob's still just singing away. You want me to sing it? I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To breed them is my cause. Shrimpy shrimp, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. You know it's my destiny. Yeah, gotta get it. Get it, get it. Shrimpy shrimp, you're my best friend. In a tank we must defend from parasites. That's all you get. I'm not doing anything else. There's so many shrimp in this tank too. Like, just go to the food. Come on, find that food. You can do it. I'm gonna move that food a little closer. Watch out, shrimp. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. There you go. Let's see. Where's my macro lens? Let's get it a little close up. I think this tank I need to actually clean the glass a little bit. So bear with me. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at them scrimp. You can see those crossbreeds there. So we've got is that an orange-eyed blue tiger in there? No, couldn't be. It happens. It does happen. I've had shrimp cross tanks multiple times. It's either from the tools or plants or whatever it may be, but I've had different shrimp jump into different tanks. So with this tank, what we're doing is we're making green aura shrimp. So you can see that there's a few crossbred shrimp in there. There's some orange shrimp with a little hint of blue, and that is the cross between the blue aura and the tangerine tigers. Looks like we may have just a straight blue aura right there. Catching up on chat. John says, Thunder Shrimp Ho! Bob says, I'm good at shrimp cover songs. Yeah, there you go, man. That's going to be your new thing. You just do cover songs for fish. All you can eat. Commercial break. Who's that? Caradina. It's Blue Bolt. It's Pikachu. So Jamie just joined back up. We're gonna go ahead and just reset everything. I'm gonna start over with the Blue Bolt tank. I'm just gonna reiterate everything I said in the last hour. No, the world doesn't revolve around you, Jamie. John says, I like the leopard print one. I don't see any leopard prints, bro. I don't know what you're looking at. You gotta get your eyes checked. See that snail right there? That's the rare, elusive, see-through ghost snail. They don't move a lot. I can't wait until I can set up another tank and start pulling some of these crossbreeds out, so we can start getting more of that green color. Because I'm thinking if we take those crosses we already have and add more blue to them, I think it'll start to get that green color. Because for the most part, the crosses look more tangerine than they do. They look blue. Jamie says, yeah, I do. My mom says I'm the center of the universe. My mom says you got to start the stream over. Well, late to the party there, Bob. Jamie's been back for a while, bro. Now who reads slow? See, I told you they would swarm pretty quick. Oh, God. I wonder if they're like, oh, yeah, there's food in here. They finally noticed that I fed the tank. But if you look, there's just tons of shrimp in here. You see them all swimming around, tons of them on the filter. They don't know where the food is. They're a little confused. They're a little confused. Sup, Bobby? His name is Paul. Yeah, Paul. So I wanted to record a video last night. My furnace was on, so I shut it off to cut the background noise. And froze out my wife and our newborn child. Sorry, is that not where the story was going? Jamie says, I know his name. Do you? You called him Bob. Just kidding. Left it off all night. Was very confused why it was cold this morning. I do that with our air conditioner because I'll do voiceovers in the garage because it's there's no background noise and the acoustics are pretty good, so it doesn't echo. But right here, so this is the wall. I'll do my voiceovers here. On the other side is the air conditioning unit. So I got to go on, turn that off before I go out in the garage and record. So I've done that to where I'm like, it's getting hot in here. What is happening? You live in Canada. I live in freaking Volcano. It's mob boss. Yeah, he is a mob boss. Better watch out. Jamie's mom has got it all wrong. Oh, dang. Stop moving the food. So a couple weeks ago, I added a layer of the black substrate to this tank, and just to give it a different look so you can see how the shrimp do on the black substrate. And these guys have gone in there and stirred it all up. So if you look, you see I put like this much black substrate on there, and they dug down and started to stir it all up. So we've got some of that brown on top of the black, which I don't think it looks bad. It actually looks kind of cool. I've been doxxed. Better watch out. We're going to come in and DDoS you. There we go. This is what I wanted, you know. All these guys in here swarming the food because, like I said, this is one of my most heavily stocked tanks. So to see just a few of them going for the food, it's kind of scary. Like, is the tank on decline? What's happening? That's instantly where my brain goes. So if something is not happening how it usually does, I instantly expect the worst. So like, everything's dying. It's going downhill. The world's over. My shrimp are dead. But in reality, they're just not hungry because I probably overfed them, like most of us do. So I think we should drop some food in the Calcio tank. So I haven't really been able to show off this tank because I got sick and I was trying to keep it a secret and a surprise for so long that, you know, I got these really cool shrimp and I haven't been able to show them off. So big shout out to Shelly Speet over at Lucky Aquatics. She was nice enough to send me some dragon bloods. And then what I went out and did was I bought some red calcios. So I got the blue calcios with the red calcios, and we've got them all in the same tank. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drop some food in there, get them swarming because it took so long for the serratas to come to the tank. And we're going to see how, I just dropped that right on a shrimp. We're going to see how they do, how they're doing. Go and check on them. I've been giving Bob's number, email, and address to telemarketers so he can have some future content topics. Yeah, you don't need to do that for me. I get enough of those phone calls for sure. I don't know how much traffic that's going to get, Bob. He says he's going to create a second channel for messing with scammers. You may get some views. I love my script. So I enjoy these live streams as much as you guys do because I get to sit here and stare at my shrimp just like you do. So it's nice to be able to hang out with you guys and look at the shrimp and just see them going crazy. Hey, Rob, how are you, man? Rob says, hello, all. Welcome to the stream. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about shrimp and just feeding some of the tanks. I just dropped some food into the Black King Kong. What am I saying? Into the Calcio tank. Looks like we've got a couple in there. We'll go ahead and switch the camera over. So you guys get to see all my shenanigans now because I got this fancy mic. Yeah, you can hear me while I'm doing stuff. I'm just going to move the lights over and not electrocute shrimp. No electrocutions today. Not today, Satan. I'll move the camera. Yeah, look at these guys. Now, this is what we all waited for, wasn't it? This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Don't look at my butt. Oh, shrimp fight. Yeah, look at those guys. So these are the dragon bloods that I got from Shelly Speed over at Lucky Aquatics, and then the red calcios I got from Mike Coleman here locally. And Grant Eater recently informed me that if you put these guys in the same tank, they are not going to mix. They're not going to crossbreed. They will just breed true and have babies that look the same. So just like crystal shrimp, you can put them in the same tank and you'll either have crystal blacks or crystal reds. Calcio shrimp, you'll either have the blue calcio dragon bloods or the red calcio shrimp. Apparently there was a scuffle and argument over the food and this guy won. Well, got a new challenger. Let's catch up on chat. Everybody's saying hi to Rob. Rob says, doing well, brother. Good to see you. I got some of that Sax underwater for Christmas, so comfy. Bob, turn it around. It's not a poop pocket. What mic did you get? So I got a lapel mic. I'm not sure the brand, but it's got a 6-foot cord on it, and it just attaches to my shirt. And so today's the first day I've actually used it. So you guys tell me, how does the stream sound today compared to, other times? Can you hear the shrimps? Can you hear the tank in the background? Can you hear my kitchen cricket? Like what's the audio sound like? Is it too loud? Is it broken up? Yo, what are those red clear and the red yellow? So those are calcio. So the red shrimp are called red calcio, and that yellow inside, I believe, is their organs, possibly the eggs. Jamie says, nice shrimp, Kyle. If you would like to support me and my channel and help to buy me more shrimp, feel free to become a member of the Poseidon's Pets Posse. For only $2 a day, you can feed all of these shrimp. Don't feel obligated to send me any money. Any donations are appreciated, and they all go towards my shrimp. Can hear the crickets for sure. Yeah, they just started right now. You still have a cricket. They live in the shrimp rack. They live in the cinder blocks. There's nothing I could do. I put traps out. I can't put any poison down because of the animals. So we just got to deal with crickets. Usually if I yell at them, like, hey, make a loud noise, they'll stop. But then I sound like a crazy person. Oh, yeah. So if you look here at the tank, I've got a buried calcio. So one of the females, she's got some eggs. You know, they did their thing, and we're going to have some babies here soon, which is super exciting because most of these shrimp were juveniles when I got them. So they were not of breeding age. It looks like we've got a large female there in the front too, and she should be ready to bury up here soon. So just did a water change yesterday. Hopefully, you know, they'll send out those pheromones and you know, get to breeding. But in the next 3 weeks, we'll see some baby shrimp in here, which is exciting. So we'll really put it to the test on what happens with calcio shrimp when you mix them. Fix the camera real quick. Ugh. And this tank is so this tank is right in the corner. So it's a little hard to position everything. There we go. So I started off with 10 Dragon Bloods, which is the blue, and then 10 of the red calcio. I think I might do my video on that this week. We'll see. We'll see. I've got a few of them recorded. I got a voiceover, but to me, they're boring. Maybe I'll just release it and we'll go from there. Let's see. Catching up on chat. Austin says, audio on point, no external sound. Garbage headphones I'm using. Mic sounds good. Bob says, I'm in love with my Blue Yeti. Ryan says, need to borrow a gecko. Yeah, we'll just release a couple lizards in the house. They'll take care of the crickets. It's funny because I don't use any poison. So I don't spray for crickets. I don't do anything like that. So any cricket I find, any cricket that shows up, I throw it in the Oscar tank and they snap it up. So it's like I'm breeding my own feeders. Jamie says, people can send their money to me so I can buy calcios. Bob says, I have spider crickets in my basement. They don't make noise, but they're creepy as heck. Of course you have baby shrimp. Ryan. He says, of course you have baby shrimp. So I talk to Ryan all the time, and I fill him in on how things are going and whatnot. And so I'll get new shrimp, and then like a week later, I'll send him a picture and be like, they're buried. There's going to be babies. I'm like, I didn't expect babies for at least 3 weeks. And he calls me the shrimp king. Where are you going with that food? You guys are obnoxious. We're just taking it away. So that's funny that he says that. John says, we make YouTube videos. Everyone thinks we're weird already. I had to explain to my neighbors that I'm not, in fact, talking to myself. Oh, I can imagine what my neighbors think, because I'll do videos in the backyard. I'll do videos in the garage. And so if they're listening, they'll sit there and they'll hear, hey, everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets, and blah, 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 blah. And then I'll mess up and I'll be like, and then, hey, everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. So they probably hear me talking to myself multiple times and yelling at the dogs. So All You Can Wheat says, do you have an online store for the shrimp? Would love to get them from you when I have a tank ready. Let me know when you're ready, and we'll work something out. I don't have a store yet, but I'm working on it. I do have the ability to ship shrimp locally in the U.S. So if you are looking to buy some shrimp from me, I'm sure we can work something out. Ryan says, I'm bitter. You'll get there, man. You're how are the golden bees doing? Shelly just jumped in and said hello. So your ears must have been burning. I was just telling everybody that you were very nice enough to send me these dragon blood shrimp. They are absolutely beautiful, doing great. Still don't have any buried females on them, but I know the ones that you sent me were juvenile, so they're still growing up. But they're looking like they're getting to that mature level. So I'd be surprised if I didn't see some berries here in the next week or two. But you'll notice that I do have a red calcio that has some eggs. So about a week after getting them, she berried up, which is very exciting. Especially because these guys came from somebody else's tank and then into my buddy's tank and then into mine, all within a couple week period. And I don't like doing that. So I don't like having shrimp, move multiple tanks very quickly. Usually if he gets new shrimp in, I'll tell him like, hey, just sit on them for a month, let them acclimate to your tank before we stress them out and put them into my tank right away. But these guys, he got them a week prior to me getting them. So I was a little apprehensive on how they were going to do. I don't like transferring shrimp that fast if I can avoid it. Ryan says, I have 4 left. I didn't know they were dying. I'm sorry, man. Jamie says, got to run again. Doing some stuff for work. Bye, Jamie. Thanks for jumping in. Sorry. John says, I actually got called an influencer the other day. Damn near wet myself, laughing at the thought of anyone being influenced by me. Yeah, we definitely do have an influence in the hobby for sure. We're not like an Instagram influencer, that's for sure. I'm not going out to the local coffee shops and posting my pictures. I could, though. You guys want me to do some selfies? Tater Salad, Big D, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream. Tater Salad decided to give me some Monopoly money. Thank you, sir, with the 50 Danish kroners. Tater says, hey, shrimp nerds, better late than never. Yes, thank you for joining the stream, man. As always, it's good to see you. Ryan says, my scuds are doing amazing. I'll have to come over, Ryan, and check your tank out and just see what's going on. Maybe I could help you out there. Excuse me. Still recovering, feeling better every day, but I'm going to go ahead and disturb these shrimp because they are being jerks and running away with the food. So, excuse me, sir. I'm just going to creep in here and I wanted to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. Move, shrimp. Get out the way. Get out the way, shrimp. Are you looking at my butt? All right, go back to eating. Thank you so much for that super chat, Tater. You're awesome, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. Scuds are scrimps too, Ryan. Yes, you can breed scuds. There you go. Hey, influencer. Ryan, so have you noticed dead shrimp in the tank, or are they hiding, or have you been pulling shrimp out? What's going on, man? Tell me what's up. How can I help? Yo, Bob. Throw this up there. I was curious on what the conversion rate was for 50 Danish kroners. It's about 750 US. All You Can Wheat says, so I'd like to get my parameters as close to yours as possible. Heard that's the best route with fragile shrimp types, redoing the substrate. Have CO2 system now in the tank. What soil is best? So if you're looking to do Caridina tanks or Caridina shrimp, what you want to get is a substrate that is buffering. So the goal is to get a buffering substrate. What that means is the substrate is going to lower your pH down to a level that is more acidic. So Caridina shrimp are an acidic water shrimp. They like anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5, and most buffering substrates will get you down that far. So there's a few that most people recommend. So ADA Amazonia is good. You can do, drawing a blank here, Lansden is a good one, as well as I know Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics. He uses strictly Fluval Stratum. And then, of course, Brightwell Aquatics is what I use. So I use Brightwell Fluorine Vulcanite, and that stuff is amazing. It doesn't buffer down like a lot of them. So some of them will get you below 6, but I'm sitting right around 6.0 to 6.2, which is pretty good. So for my parameters, I remineralize for a TDS of 100 to 110, which is a GH of about 6. And then I age my water over a 3-day period. And then I drip the water back in slowly when I do water changes. And then I'm not familiar with CO2, but I know with CO2, your pH can fluctuate if you're not adding an air stone. So definitely look into that, because you don't want pH fluctuations with shrimp. You'll end up killing them off. Scuds are awesome fish food, and the rate they breed, a scud rack could be highly profitable. Bob says, trying to work and slack off is hard. Tater says, not even enough for a cup of coffee. Hey, it all adds up, man. I'm appreciative of everything. Even if you sent me 50 cents, it all helps. And I'm pretty frugal, so I can find a cup of coffee for that much. John says, I should be filming a video or doing research, Bob. I know the feeling. I'm with you. I know I went through, I was cleaning my iPad out because I do all my editing on my iPad. And I was looking at my videos and I started deleting them. I'm like, oh, I've put this video out. I've put that video out. And then I was looking at my YouTube channel and I'm like, I just deleted videos that I haven't even uploaded yet. So I had created content and then I ended up deleting it, but I was able to recover it before I finalized the delete. But I thought it was funny. My head's still back in Christmas time, still back 2 weeks. So I'm feeling better though, and we'll get on top of it. Shelly from Lucky Aquatics sent me a bunch of moss, and I did a video on that, on the unboxing, on putting it all in the tank, and I could have sworn I uploaded it, but I can't find it anywhere. And so I've got to do the voiceover for that and then upload that one. And then I've got the crossbreeding project of the Calcios here. Got the crossbreeding project of the Black King Kongs, and then the Aura Blues. So I'm a little behind on content right now, but I've got enough stuff to keep me going for the next month. Just a matter of time and editing and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Kevin, K9 and Aquatics, thanks for joining the stream. Welcome. He says, what if my water comes out at 10 but goes down to 6 after it is gassed off? Wow. So the pH is at 10 when it comes out of the tap and then 6 when it gets gassed off. So as you add oxygen to water, it will start to oxidize that water, of course, and that affects the pH, because depending on the GH and KH, the amount of potassium, magnesium, calcium in the water, that's going to affect that pH level. So depending on how hard or soft your water is, the goal is whatever number is at the end of the gassing off. So that's why we always aerate or age our RO water. That was hard. Our RO water is because as you age that water, the pH does change. So you don't want to add it directly to the tank, because if your pH is a 10, which seems kind of high, if your pH is at 10 and you add that directly to the tank, that's going to throw your pH way off, and then it's going to spike and fluctuate. And so you always want to age your water. Kevin says, you said that you should use Fluval Stratum, but I'm not a fan of Stratum. I was trying to not pass any judgment or opinions on a certain brand. I've done my research, and a lot of people have said that Fluval Stratum fluctuates on the quality, so their quality control is kind of low. So some people have had issues to where, moving the camera real quick, issues to where it's not buffering the pH down to where it needs to be. So it's a great planted substrate, but if you're looking to keep shrimp that require a specific pH, I don't know if I would trust it. Now, with that being said, Brian over at Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics says he uses exclusively Fluval Stratum and has never had any problems. So it just goes to show that, you know, there's a lot of factors there, but when I was going over reviews on which substrate to use, Fluval was not recommended. But it is a lower priced option, and if you just have one tank and you want to see how it goes, it's not a bad option, especially if you don't have anything available or know where to resource these things. Do I have 2 buried females in there? Yep. Okay. So 2 of the red calcios have eggs. That is great to see. Yes, for babies. So it's if that's all you have, if that's all you can find, you know, it may work. Just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on your pH and how it's working. John says, I'd say it had very low GHKH, Kevin, and now the buffering capacity is super low. Tater says the Dragon Blood says / Calico mix looks mint AF. Definitely. It's I'm loving this tank more and more every day. Seeing these 2 shrimp in there, because they're both beautiful shrimp. So to have the Dragon Bloods, have the red calcios together, it's really cool. You might be in the past a little bit, Tater. Alan Tooth, hey, how are you? Thanks for jumping in. So Alan says, just jumping on the stream now. How are those crossbreeds doing? The orange eye blue tigers, and I can't remember what you were crossing them with, but how are they doing? And then let's see. So they're doing great. You know, I've got I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe we've successfully crossed the orange eyes with the Black King Kongs, because I'm getting some babies that are blue with a few white stripes. So this could just be a low quality Black King Kong that hasn't colored up to that dark black yet, or we could have successfully crossbred them. So it's only time will tell, but the goal with this tank is to get blue shrimp with white stripes. So that's that blue pinto pattern that we're going for. So as far as success goes, I would say, yeah, it's been successful, because that's the goal, is to get those, you know, blue pinto shrimp over time. Kevin says, sorry, you said you should use a buffering substrate, but my water is so soft after gassing off. So here's the kicker. You want to add minerals to the tank to give it that GH that the shrimp need. So when you're adding more minerals, you know, that could raise the pH, because it's all a balance. So with the buffering substrate, it's going to guarantee that your pH stays that low. So even though the water's coming out that way, you want to guarantee that pH stays that way. Alan says, the only substrate I have tried with the low pH shrimp have been the Brightwell, and it's amazing. At least for my attempts, it keeps it 5.5. There you go. Yeah, Brightwell, Flora, and Vulcanite is all I use. So I did my research, and there's a few other brands that are highly recommended as well. But what I found was with Brightwell, there's no ammonia output. So it doesn't create ammonia. So you don't need to let it sit for 30 days. Of course, it's always good to age a tank for 30 days before you add any shrimp. But what I like about it is I can add it to the tank if I need to give it a little extra kick in case the tank is old. I don't have to sit there and wait for 30 days for the tank to cycle and do its thing. Don't get me confused with saying that you shouldn't cycle your tank for 30 days, because I'm always going to advocate that, especially with new sponges, with a brand new tank, new everything. All You Can Eat says, aside from Neos, are there any other shrimp that interbreed ugly and should avoid being added together? It's a good question. So most Caridina shrimp can interbreed, but what you'll find is they just mix. So if you put them all together, they're just going to create different offspring. If you want to keep the genetics the same, so if you don't want to crossbreed your shrimp, just keep all of one type. Or you can do like crystal black and crystal red, you can mix together. The red calcios and the blue dragon bloods you can mix together. Tiger shrimp you can mix together, but they're going to come out as a crossbreed. So it's best to keep one type of shrimp in each tank. Excuse me. So I had COVID. I had COVID on Christmas, and it's doing this fun thing lately, this whole last week, to where my vocal cords get covered in stuff. And no matter how much I drink, no matter how much I clear my throat, it affects the way I talk and how I sound. So if it sounds like I'm going through puberty, my voice is cracking, just know it's the fun side effects of having COVID. But yeah, there's all kinds of shrimp that you can keep together. And even if they do crossbreed, my coal tank is one of my favorite tanks. So all the different color patterns and different hues and shades in my coal tank, that's one of my favorite tanks. Alan says, and it's easy to just order it from Amazon. Big bag is the most economical price. Yeah, I went out and I bought the 25-pound bag when I set up this rack. And All You Can Eat. So I don't mind new patterning or mixed colors or whatever, just don't want to get a bunch of brown and clear like a Neo Skittles tank does. So you'll find that won't happen. So with Caridina shrimp, you're not going to get the clear brown wild types. You'll get some interesting stuff. So you can order a few blue bolts, some crystal blacks, Black King Kongs, and throw them all in the same tank, and you'll see how they do, because they'll start to interbreed. Or what you can do is you can even find somebody like me who has a coal tank, who can just grab a bunch of shrimp and send them out to you. Because when I get undesirable colors in this tank, what I'll do is I'll take those undesirable shrimp and I'll put them in a tank by themselves. So that's what my coal tank is. So when I'm breeding for colors and breeding for different patterns, I'm going to pull out the ones that don't fit that qualification. And I'm not going to kill them or dispose of them like some folks do. What I'll do is I'm going to put them in another tank so that way they can live their lives and do their things. So Ryan says, that's what I had, man. It will take a few weeks to get over. Yeah, you can hear it now. It's starting to act up. It's fun. Like Tater said, getting for Christmas, worst present ever. Yes, it was Happy New Year to me. You get 2 weeks of paid vacation from work and don't get to do anything. Antonio says, hi, I'm back. Rob says, I set up a coal tank, just have a bunch of shrimp, and as he said, various colors. Yes, coal tanks can be the most fun tanks to look at because they just have a variety of shrimp in there. I even took some desirable shrimp from my shrimp rack. So I grabbed a couple blue bolts, I grabbed some tangerine tigers, I grabbed some orange-eye blue tigers, and I threw them in the coal tank just to add some extra genes and color variations in there. Because if you start to see some shrimp that you like in that tank, you can set up a tank by itself for just those color patterns or variations. And that's how we get all these shrimp. So these shrimp in here are just years and years of selective breeding. And somebody was like, hey, I like how that has the clear body and I can see the yellow insides and it's got the red stripe, and I'm gonna breed that. I'm gonna keep perfecting that until that's where red calcios came from. I could be wrong. These could have been, just straight found in the wild like this, but I don't feel like that pattern is very evolutionary. All You Can Wheat says, I got it day after Christmas. Fever first 2 days followed by just very mild common cold symptoms. Lost taste and smell for like 4 days. Very easy mild illness for me, luckily. Yeah, it was, I'd say it was pretty mild. I didn't have any life-threatening symptoms, but there was no way I was going to work. There was no way I was doing anything. I was down for the count. I either slept or sat in my recliner and played video games and watched TV. That was it. There was not much I could do. All right. Well, as much fun as this has been, it has been about an hour and a half since we started the stream, and I've got a few things I got to do on my last day off before I go back to work tomorrow. So we are going to end it. So I will take one last question or questions. If anybody else has anything before we go, we'll run this for the hour and a half mark, which is about 3.5 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask now. We'll go ahead and feed my last tank. Move over one. This is my crystal tank. So my crystal reds, crystal blacks, and these guys are voracious. So you will see within the next 2 minutes that I'm going to have to move the camera again because these guys will have moved the food throughout the tank or hidden behind something. Austin says, thank you, sir. Rob says, great stream. It was good to see you. Have a good day, night all. Take care, everyone. Thanks for popping in. Definitely appreciate it. So John's question is, how many scrimp would a scrimp tank scrimp if the scrimp tank could tank scrimp? A lot. Depending on the size of your tank, you could have quite a few. I think, what is it? 100 per 5 gallons is the average of what you would say. 4? I like Austin's answer better. 4. Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate all of you coming in here. Shout out to all of my members, Jamie Anderson, Tater Salad, Shelly Speet, Bob Moss Nano Tanks, Big Mark Shrimp Daddy, my lovely wife, Amber. Apologize for anybody else if I forgot you. Robert Redmond. So thank you guys so much for everything. Tater, thank you for the super chat. And as always, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go make some content for you. I'm gonna record some content so I can have a video for you.